Ink Ribbon.
Before I get to this video, I just wanted to give a big thank you to all my subscribers for helping Ink Ribbon hit 10,000 subscribers. Over the course of my life as a gamer, I have played a ton of games, as I'm sure you have. Some of them good, some of them bad, and some of them in between. The latter of these comes down to various things, but the most painful one is when developers change one little thing to either try something new, or maybe to try to improve on something, but more often than not that ends up making games worse. The games on this list are especially noteworthy for being ruined by one small feature. SimCity 2013. First on this list is SimCity 2013. In case you don't know or maybe forgot, this was a huge firestorm for EA, surprising absolutely no one. And it had nothing to do with the game. Yeah, the game was fine. The DRM and having to always be online, not so much. By the way, what is up with all the companies trying to force always online usage on us? Anyway, with this feature, if you weren't always online, you can't play the game. Kind of a way for them to ensure you aren't pirating the game. Good job, EA. Way to punish those pirates. Oh wait, except you also punished the people who bought the game. The fans who had been eagerly awaiting this game, because of the need to be online, combined with the amount of players trying to play the game, the servers were overloaded and nobody was able to play. Actually, the ironic thing was the pirated version of the game, which came out almost immediately after, was the only way most people could play the game, since it bypasses the DRM. After this incident, EA not only got a slice of humble pie, but this also led to the far superior spiritual successor, Cities Skylines, and everyone learned a valuable lesson. Resident Evil Outbreak. Now, you all know I love Resident Evil, and I'm sure one day I will actually do a video about Outbreak like I keep saying I will. But for now, you'll have to settle for this. If you've never played it, Resident Evil Outbreak was an online co-op game for the PS2 where you played as civilians trying to escape Raccoon City during the outbreak, and it's an amazing game. The graphics were on point, the controls were some of the smoothest Resident Evil controls of any game in the series, the characters were likable, there were great scenarios and a lot of amazing additions to the series such as melee weapons and being able to walk and shoot at the same time. But the feature that caused the ultimate downfall of this amazing game? Well, it's because it was an online game. Now I know that sounds crazy, but it's all about the context. You see, back in the days of the PS2, online play was simply not a thing. A lot of games were experimenting with it, but almost every single one followed the same path. Add an online mode, realize nobody played and the servers were a huge waste of money, so online features were removed. Mortal Kombat, SSX, even Final Fantasy X was first shown to have an online mode in the beta footage, but every single one had the online features shut down almost immediately, and Outbreak was no different. Unfortunately for Outbreak, online was the main focus, so it kinda destroyed the game. I mean, you can still play with AI partners, but it's just not the same. Still worth owning though, just saying. Silent Hill 4. And now the game that led me to make this video, Silent Hill 4. Now for those of you who didn't know, Silent Hill 4 was actually going to be its own game, unrelated to the series, but Konami decided that it had enough elements in line with Silent Hill that they would just add it as another entry, which is why the game is so different from the first three. I actually love this game, specifically the story. There are so many utterly disturbing moments that I don't want to ruin, especially the apartment hauntings, which are my favorite things in the game. It's just so dark and horrific, which is what Silent Hill fans come to expect. Now, as far as combat, movement controls, and the basic survival horror gameplay elements go, this game follows the first three games, except that they decided to change one tiny feature that, in my opinion, completely ruined the game. That feature was changing the typical unlimited inventory system to one where you can only hold 8 slots. But that's not where they stopped. They also made it so you had to go all the way home and use a Resident Evil style inventory box to switch out items. Now you may be thinking, oh geez, that couldn't have ruined the game, but let me tell you, it makes a really big difference. And I haven't even mentioned the doll you can find that makes using the inventory box hurt you, as if it wasn't bad enough. After beating the game a few times and not wanting to deal with it anymore, I decided to play with the good old Game Shark and activated slot modifier codes, which allowed me to switch out things as I needed without having to backtrack, and I started noticing that once I didn't have to worry about managing my inventory anymore, I was enjoying the game much more than I did before. By not having to backtrack, I was more immersed in the horror and atmosphere, and I wasn't thinking about my limited inventory. I think a lesson can be learned about game design here. And with that, I think we've reached a good stopping point for this video. We can save more of these for a rainy day. If you guys know of any features like these that ruin games, let me know down in the comments and maybe I'll include them in a future video. If you want to vote on the next videos, be sure to check out the community tab on my YouTube page. We also have a website now at inkribbongaming.com, the link is down below. Again, thank you guys so much for all the subs, it's very, very appreciated. I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon.